Have you been diagnosed with cardiovascular disease and told you that it is simply an inevitable part of aging? Perhaps you are controlling high blood pressure, dealing with the disease of coronary arteries, or concerned about your high levels of cholesterol? For millions of adults over 60, cardiovascular disease is not just a health statistics, it is a daily reality that affects energy levels, independence and quality of life. Medicines, medical consultations, dietary restrictions, and constant health monitoring can become an overwhelming concern for your golden years. But here is a truth that conventional medicine rarely emphasizes: many aspects of cardiovascular disease are not only treatable, can even be reversible through specific nutritional strategies. And the most encouraging news? A significant improvement in cardiovascular health is possible after age 60 when you start incorporating certain foods that heal your heart into your daily diet. In this comprehensive guide, we will explore 5 specific foods with remarkable properties that can help reduce inflammation, cleanse blood plate, improve blood flow, lower blood pressure, and potentially reverse many symptoms of cardiovascular disease. These foods are no food, are nutritional powers especially selected by their ability to address the deep causes of heart disease in the aged cardiovascular system. When we end, you will have a practical and evidence-based nutritional strategy to support your heart's health without just depending on medications. Stay with me until the end, because you can be surprised to find that the solution to better cardiovascular health is not just in the bottles of medicines, it is already waiting in your kitchen. Now, let's start this trip to revitalize the health of your heart after 60 years. Number 1, extra virgin olive oil, liquid gold for your heart. Extra virgin olive oil, EVO, has been a cornerstone of the Mediterranean diet for thousands of years, and modern science now confirms what traditional wisdom has long suggested: this liquid gold is one of the most powerful foods to protect and potentially reverse cardiovascular disease in adults over 60. Rich in specific compounds that directly aim at multiple heart disease mechanisms, high-quality olive oil offers deep cardioprotective benefits that can help restore health and vascular function. If you have been diagnosed with cardiovascular disease, making your main cooking oil be one of the simplest and most effective dietary changes to your heart. What makes the extra virgin olive oil so exceptionally effective for cardiovascular health is its unique concentration of monounsaturated fats and polyphenols, bioactive compounds with potent anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. Chronic inflammation in blood vessels is one of the main factors of atherosclerosis, the accumulation of plaques on the artery walls leading to heart disease. EVO polyphenols, particularly oleocanthal and oleuropein, help to neutralize inflammation at the molecular level, essentially cooling inflammatory processes that damage blood vessels over time. The investigation has shown that oleocanthal, one of the most studied compounds of olive oil, has remarkably similar effects to non-steroid anti-inflammatory drugs such as ibuprofen, but without potential side effects. A remarkable study published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology found that individuals who consumed about 4 tablespoons of EVO daily had significant reductions in inflammatory markers and improvements in endothelial function, the capacity of blood vessels to properly dilate, in just 3 weeks. But the cardiovascular benefits of olive oil go far beyond the fight against inflammation. Your monounsaturated fats help improve your lipid profile by increasing HDL, good cholesterol, and reducing oxidized LDL, the dangerous form of cholesterol that contributes to the formation of signs on arterial walls. In addition, EVO compounds help reverse the aggregation of platelets in the blood, reducing the risk of clot formation that can lead to heart attacks and strokes. Perhaps the most impressive is the fact that long-term studies have shown that regular olive oil consumption is associated with a real regression of atherosclerotic plate, suggesting that this remarkable food not only prevents more damage, but can help reverse existing cardiovascular disease. The pre-timed study, one of the largest nutritional tests ever performed, concluded that participants who followed an extra-Mediterranean diet with extra virgin olive oil presented a 30% reduction in major cardiovascular events compared to those who followed a low-fat diet. Considers Robert's experience. At 72, this retired teacher had controlled coronary artery disease for almost a decade. Despite taking statins and drugs for blood pressure, his condition had gradually worsening and his cardiologist was discussing the potential need for stent placement. After reading about the cardiovascular benefits of olive oil, Robert decided to make a significant change in his diet. I completely eliminated the butter, margarine and vegetable oils from my kitchen and replaced them with high-quality extra virgin olive oil, explains Robert. I used it to saute vegetables, as a base for salad sauces, watered the finished dishes and even had a tablespoon in the morning. After 6 months of this simple change, along with the continuation of prescribed drugs, Robert returned to his cardiac checkup. Both he and his doctor were surprised by the results. My blood pressure had declined significantly, my HDL had increased and my inflammatory markers were clearly lower, says Robert. After a year, my follow-up tests showed enough improvements for my doctor to reduce the dosage of my medication. What impressed me most was that I was not following a strict diet, I simply changed the type of fat I consumed, and that made a remarkable difference in my cardiovascular health. Robert's experience is in accordance with what researchers have observed in larger studies. A reference study published in the New England Journal of Medicine followed more than 7,000 people with high cardiovascular risk and found that people who consumed more olive oil showed not only a slower progression of heart disease, but also real improvements in vascular function and reductions in heart events. To incorporate more olive oil that heals the heart in your routine, choose the extra certified virgin olive oil, which contains the highest levels of beneficial polyphenols, replaces butter, margarine and refined oils in the kitchen, and preparation of foods creates simple salads with olive oil, lemon or vinegar and herbs crushed into the cooked vegetables. The fish art to maximize taste and nutrition considers the possibility of taking 1 to 2 tablespoons of high-quality EVU directly every day for therapeutic benefits, preserves it properly away from heat and light to preserve their beneficial properties to get the maximum cardiovascular benefits. Seeks to take about 2 to 4 tablespoons, 30 to 60 milliliters, of extra virgin oil daily. Looking for olive oil in dark bottles with harvest dates, as beneficial compounds decrease over time. Although EVU is dense in calories, the investigation shows that participants in olive oil studies usually do not gain weight when replacing other fats with olive oil rather than simply adding it to your current diet. If you have been diagnosed with a cardiovascular disease and you have not yet made an extra virgin olive oil a basic element of your diet, this simple addition can make a deep difference in your heart health. It is natural, delicious and now scientifically validated as one of the most effective foods to potentially reverse aspects of cardiovascular disease after 60 years. Number 2, fat fish, the protective shield of the heart. The fat fish like salmon, mackerel, sardines and trout are true treasures nutrition when it comes to combating cardiovascular disease in adults over 60. These remarkable sources of omega-3 fatty acids provide compounds that can help reduce inflammation, improve arterial function, normalize heart rhythm, and potentially reverse significant aspects of cardiovascular disease. If heart problems have been diagnosed, increasing the consumption of fatty fish can provide powerful support for your cardiovascular system and help restore heart health, which conventional medicine often considers permanently compromised. What makes fat fish so exceptionally effective for cardiovascular health is their high concentration of EPA, eicosapyenic acid, and DHA, docosahexaenoic acid, long-chain 3 fatty acids with deep effects on cardiac function and vascular health. Unlike many nutrients that only support overall health, these specific compounds actively contradict multiple mechanisms underlying heart disease, creating what researchers call cardioprotective effects. One of the most important ways of omega-3 benefits the heart is by reducing inflammation in the cardiovascular system. Chronic inflammation damages arterial walls, promoting the development and progression of atherosclerosis, the accumulation of plaques that narrows the arteries and restricts blood flow. Omega-3 of fat fish help to cool this inflammation, creating an environment where damaged blood vessels can really start heal. A remarkable study published in the Journal of the American Heart Association found that participants with cardiovascular disease that consumed fat fish twice a week had significant reductions in inflammatory markers and improvements in endothelial function after just 8 weeks. But the cardiovascular benefits of fat fish go far beyond the fight against inflammation. Omega-3 also help to improve your lipid profile by reducing triglycerides, often 15 to 30% in clinical studies, while modestly increasing HDL, good cholesterol. They also make blood platelets less sticky, reducing the risk of dangerous clot formation that can lead to heart attacks and strokes. Perhaps the most impressive is the fact that the omega-3 have antiarrhythmic effects, helping to stabilize the electrical activity of the heart and reduce the risk of hazardous irregular heartbeat. The impact of these combined benefits can be substantial. A reference analysis published in the Journal of the American Medical Association evaluated 20 studies involving more than 68,000 patients and concluded that greater fatty acid intake 3 was associated with a 36% reduction in heart-related deaths. Another major study published in the New England Journal of Medicine concluded that the survivors of heart attacks that consumed fat fish twice a week had a 29% reduction in mortality for all causes compared to those who did not eat fish. Considers Margaret's experience. At age 68, he lived with auricular fibrillation and coronary artery disease for several years, controlling his illness with various medicines that caused unpleasant side effects. After knowing the cardiovascular benefits of omega-3, Margaret decided to significantly increase their consumption of fatty fish. "I committed to eating salmon, sardines or mackerel 3 times a week," explains Margaret. "I found simple recipes I liked and made it a priority." He also chose DHA-enriched eggs and took a pharmaceutical-quality fish oil supplement on the days when he did not eat fish after consulting his cardiologist. After about 3 months of these changes in the diet, Margaret noticed significant improvements. "My energy levels increased and I no longer had so many episodes of heart palpitations," he recalls. When she returned to her 6-month checkup, both she and her cardiologist were pleased with the results. His blood analyzers revealed an improvement in triglyceride levels, a reduction in inflammatory markers and a better global lipid profile. "The most significant is that your heart rate stabilized, to the point that the doctor can reduce one of his medicines." "What surprised me most," says Margaret, "was the fact that the change in my diet improved my cardiac state in a way that surpassed what the medication itself had achieved. My cardiologist told me that the omega-3 was helping to heal the underlying inflammation that was causing my heart disease." Margaret's experience aligns with what researchers observed in clinical studies. A particularly remarkable study published in Circulation found that patients with cardiovascular disease that increased their omega intake 3 showed improvements in arterial elasticity and endothelial function, essentially making their blood vessels more flexible and receptive, in just 12 weeks. Another impressive research project showed that long-term fat consumption was associated with a decrease in coronary atherosclerosis progression, suggesting that omega-3 can help block or even reverse the process of arterial plates formation. To incorporate more fatty fish that heal your heart into your routine, seek to eat at least 2 to 3 portions, 4 to 6 ounces each, fat fish per week. Choose wild fish whenever possible for a greater look of omega-3 and less contaminants. Experience simple preparations, such as baking salmon with aromatic or grilling mackerel with olive oil and garbage toasts or salads. If fresh fish is not available or is not accessible, frozen options keep most nutritional benefits. Consider the possibility of taking a high-quality fish oil supplement if it is difficult to consume enough fish. Consult your health professional to get the maximum cardiovascular benefits. Focus on fatty fish varieties with greater look of omega-3. Note the content of mercury in the larger fish, focusing mainly on smaller species, such as sardines and herring, which usually contain fewer environmental contaminants and provide excellent levels of omega-3. If you are still seeing this video and find these valuable ideas, please comment number 2 below to say that you are here. And if you haven't signed up I recommend that you subscribe to notifications to lose no video on how to improve your health naturally as you get older. Number 3, berries, the remedy of nature to the heart. To berries, especially blueberries, strawberries, blackberries and raspberries, are truly the natural remedy for the hearts of adults over 60. These colorful fruits contain specialized compounds that directly aim at the mechanisms underlying cardiovascular disease, helping to restore the proper vascular function that many conventional treatments cannot achieve. If you have diagnosed heart problems or if you are taking medications for cardiovascular problems, incorporating a variety of berries into your daily diet can help reverse artery damage and potentially improve your health in a way that tablets themselves can't. What makes berries so exceptionally effective for cardiovascular health is their remarkable concentration of polyphenols, particularly anthocyanins, the compounds that give them their vibrant colors. These are not just pigments, they are powerful bioactive compounds that simultaneously influence various aspects of heart health. One of its most important functions is to protect the endothelium, the delicate internal coating of the blood vessels that regulate vascular tone, blood coagulation and arterial inflammation. Endothelial dysfunction is an early marker of cardiovascular disease and contributes significantly to atherosclerosis and hypertension. The investigation has shown that berry anthocyanins help restore proper endothelial function, essentially repairing this critical coating of blood vessels. An innovative study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that participants with cardiovascular risk factors that consumed 2 daily berries presented improvements in significant inflow-mediated dilation, a measure of arterial function, in just 8 weeks, improvements comparable to those observed with some prescribed medications. But the benefits of berries for heart healing go beyond endothelial function. They are powerful anti-inflammatory agents, helping to cool chronic inflammation that damages arterial walls and promotes plates formation. In addition, berry-specific antioxidants help prevent LDL cholesterol oxidation, a critical step in atherosclerosis development. Oxidized LDL penetrates the arterial walls and triggers the inflammatory waterfall that leads to plaque formation, but berry antioxidants help block this dangerous process. Perhaps the most impressive is the fact that long-term observational studies have shown that regular berry consumption is associated with remarkable cardiovascular risk reductions. The Yale study nurses, which accompanied over 93,000 women for 18, concluded that those consuming more blueberries and strawberries recorded a 32% reduction in the risk of heart attack compared to women who ate berries once a month or less. This protective effect was independent of other food factors, suggesting that berries have a unique beneficial effect on heart health. Considers James's experience. At 75, this reformed post office worker had controlled hypertension and high cholesterol for over a decade. Despite taking various medications, its blood pressure was still insufficient and often felt fatigue and less exercise tolerance. After knowing the cardiovascular benefits of berries, James decided to make them a non-negotiable part of his daily routine. I committed to eating at least 1 cup of mixed berries every day. What happened, explains James. He kept the frozen wild fruits at hand for more convenience and joined them with my breakfast, mixed them in beaten or enjoyed them as a snack at night. After about 2 months of consistent berries, James began to notice improvements. His energy levels increased and could walk longer distances without feeling tired. When James returned to his quarterly checkup, his doctor was surprised by the improvements in his numbers. Its arterial tension had decreased significantly, its inflammatory markers were lower and its lipid profile had improved. My doctor asked me what changes had made, recalls James. When I told you about the berries, I was impressed but not surprised. He said the latest investigations supported exactly what I was feeling, that berry compounds can help repair vascular damage and improve cardiac function. After 6 months of daily berries, along with prescribed medicines, James's cardiovascular health has improved to the point that your doctor can reduce one of your medicines for blood pressure. What amazed me most, says James, was the fact that something as simple and delicious as eating berries could make such a significant difference in the health of my heart when years of medication had not achieved the same results. James's experience is in line with what researchers have observed in clinical studies. A particularly remarkable study published in Circulation found that participants with cardiovascular disease that consumed powdered blueberries daily for 6 months had significant improvements in arterial rigidity and endothelial function compared to those who took placebo. Researchers observed that these improvements were associated with higher levels of anthocyanin metabolites in circulation, confirming that berry compounds were directly responsible for cardiovascular benefits. Another impressive research project, published in the Journal of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, concluded that regular consumption of berries has led to LDL cholesterol reductions, systolic blood pressure and inflammation markers, a triple benefit to heart health. Researchers concluded that berries offer a comprehensive approach to the management of cardiovascular disease through multiple mechanics. Parallelisms. To incorporate more berries that heal your heart into your routine, it points to at least 1 cup of mixed berries daily. Keeps frozen berries by hand throughout the year. They maintain virtually all of their healthy heart compounds and are often more affordable. Adds berries to the porridge of milestones, yogurt or cereals. Mixes them with other healthy ingredients, such as Flaxian minds enjoy them like a simple snack or a slight dessert with a small black chocolate, while considers the possibility of consuming dried berries without sugar, in moderation due to concentrated sugar content, when there are no fresh or frozen berries to get the maximum cardiovascular benefits. It looks for variety. Different berries contain slightly different profiles of beneficial compounds. Bats and blackberries appear to be particularly potent to heart health in research studies, but all berries offer significant benefits. Number 4. Legumes. Healing helpers. The legumes, the diversified family that includes beans, lentils, peas and chickpeas, are unpretentious nutritional powers with remarkable capabilities to improve and potentially reverse cardiovascular disease in adults over 60. These accessible and versatile foods provide a unique combination of bioactive nutrients and compounds that simultaneously address various aspects of heart health. If cardiovascular problems have been diagnosed, making legumes a regular part of your diet can help reduce cholesterol, lower blood tension, improve arterial function, and potentially reverse aspects of heart disease that many medications only partially address. What makes legumes so exceptionally effective for cardiovascular health is their rich concentration of soluble fiber, particularly a type called beta-glucanose, which has remarkable properties of cholesterol reduction. This special fiber is linked to cholesterol and biliary acids in your digestive system, preventing its reabsorption and promoting its body excretion. The result is a significant reduction in LDL levels, bad cholesterol, often 5 to 10% in clinical studies. This reduction is comparable to which some prescription drugs reach, but without potential side effects. The effect of reducing the cholesterol of legumes is so significant that Canada and the United States health authorities approved specific health allegations for beans and heart disease. The investigation has shown that consumption of only 1 cup of beans per day can reduce total cholesterol an average of 8% and LDL cholesterol by almost 7%. A meta-analysis published in the Canadian Medical Association Journal evaluated 26 clinical trials and concluded that the consumption of legumes has led to significant reductions from LDL cholesterol as well as improvements in blood pressure. But the benefits of legumes to the heart go far beyond the reduction of cholesterol. They are also rich in potassium, magnesium and calcium, essential minerals for proper regulation of blood pressure, that many older adults are disabled. Studies have shown that increasing legume intake can reduce systolic blood pressure by 2 to 4 mm of mercury in people with hypertension, a modest but clinically significant effect that gets worse over time. In addition, legumes have a remarkably low glycemic index, helping to stabilize blood sugar levels and improve insulin sensitivity, increasingly recognized factors as critical cardiovascular health. Perhaps the most impressive is the fact that the legumes contain unique compounds called phytosterols that mimic the structure of cholesterol and block its absorption in the intestines. They also provide significant amounts of antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds that help protect arterial walls from damage and reduce chronic inflammation that leads to atherosclerosis. Considers Elena's experience. At 70, for over a decade that controls high cholesterol and hypertension, taking daily statins and medication for arterial tension. Despite the adherence to the med, its numbers remained below the ideal and she was concerned about the potential side effects of the long-term medication. After reading about the cardiovascular benefits of legumes, Elena decided to incorporate them into her diet consistently. I committed to eating some kind of beans, lentils or chickpeas every day, explains Elena. I started simply, adding beans to soups and salads, savoring hummus-like snack and replacing the meat with lentils in several weekly meals. After about 2 months of this food change, Elena, it began to notice improvements. Their energy levels increased and no longer felt the muscle discomfort that had been a side effect of statins medication. When Elena returned to her checkup 3 months later, her doctor was impressed with the changes. Its LDL cholesterol had diminished 15 points. Its blood pressure had improved and its inflammatory markers were more low. My doctor asked me what changes had made, recalls Elena. When I explained my daily habit of consuming legumes, she supported me and suggested that we try to reduce the statin dose if the improvements continued. After 6 months of consistent consumption of legumes, continuing to take the prescribed medicines, Elena's cardiovascular markers have improved. Your doctor is comfortable in reducing the statin dose to half. What surprised me most, says Elena, was the fact that these humble foods, that I often ignored that they could have such a significant impact on the health of my heart. I still take medication, but in a lower dose and with less side effects, and my general cardiovascular health is better than years. Elena's experience aligns with what the researchers observed in studies larger. A particularly remarkable study, published in JAMA Internal Medicine, accompanied more than 9,500 people for 19 years and concluded that the people who consumed more legumes had a 22% lower risk of disease, coronary compared to those who consumed less. The investigators observed that the legumes seemed to actively protect the system cardiovascular through multiple mechanisms, instead of limiting themselves to replace less healthy foods in the diet. Another impressive research project, the PREDIME study, revealed that the participants who consumed legumes 4 or more times a week had a 14% lower risk of cardiovascular disease compared to those that they consumed less than once a week. Researchers observed improvements in various cardiac risk factors, including lipid profiles, blood pressure and inflammatory markers, which suggests comprehensive cardiovascular benefits. To incorporate more legumes that heal the heart into your routine, try to eat at least half cup of legumes per day. Add beans or lentils to soups, stews and casseroles. Uses hummus to block in sandwiches instead of mayonnaise. Incorporates bean dishes like chili, bean salads or lentil soup in your weekly meal rotation. Experience the roasted chickpeas as a crispy and healthy snack for the heart. Explores different varieties to find your favorite, from black beans and chickpeas to red lentils and broken peas. For maximum cardiovascular benefits, prepares dried legumes whenever possible, soaking them and cooking them, since usually contain less sodium than canned varieties. If you use beans canned for convenience, choose low-sodium options and rinse them well before you use them to reduce sodium content by up to 40%. If you are still watching this video and find these valuable ideas, please comment number 4 below to tell me that you are here. Your involvement helps us to continue to create content that responds to your health concerns. Number 5, nuts, heals the heart in a shell. Dry fruits, especially almonds, walnuts, pastries and sin. These are extraordinary foods for those seeking to reverse cardiovascular disease after 60 years. These dense nutrient almonds contain a unique profile of compounds that heal the heart and can improve the squeezing, reducing inflammation, improving arterial function and potentially reversing aspects of heart disease that many conventional treatments cannot address. If cardiovascular problems have been diagnosed, incorporating a variety of dry fruits into your daily diet can help restore heart health that many doctors find permanently compromised. What makes dry fruits so exceptionally effective for cardiovascular health is their perfect combination of nutrients that support the heart: monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats, vegetable sterols, fiber, L-arginine, vitamin E and a series of essential minerals for heart function. This nutritional symphony works together to simultaneously treat various aspects of heart disease. Healthy dried fruits help you improve your lipid profile by reducing LDL cholesterol and maintaining or increasing HDL cholesterol, a double benefit that few medications can achieve. The impact on cholesterol is so significant that FDA has authorized a qualified health claim stating that eating 1.5 ounces of nuts can reduce the risk of heart disease. Research has consistently demonstrated that regular dried consumption can reduce LDL cholesterol by 3 to 19%, depending on the amount consumed and individual factors. A reference meta-analysis published in the Archives of Internal Medicine evaluated 25 clinical trials and concluded that participants who consumed an average of 2.4 ounces of dry fruits per day recorded significant reductions in total cholesterol, LDL cholesterol and triglycerides. But the benefits of nuts to the heart go far beyond the improvement of cholesterol. They are rich in arginine, an amino acid that helps produce nitric oxide, a compound that relaxes blood vessels and improves blood flow. This contributes to a better endothelial function, essentially helping to restore the proper functioning of the critical internal coating of your arteries. In addition, vitamin E and walnut polyphenols provide powerful antioxidant protection, preventing the oxidation of LDL cholesterol, a fundamental step in the development of atherosclerotic plate. Perhaps the most impressive is the fact that long-term observational studies have shown that regular consumption of dry fruits is associated with substantial reductions in cardiovascular mortality. The health study nurses, which accompanied over 86,000 women for 14 years, found that those who ate dry fruits regularly had a 35% reduction in the risk of coronary disease compared to those that rarely consumed them. Similarly, the Physicians' Health Study found that men who consumed dried fruit 2 or more times a week had a 47% lower risk of sudden cardiac death and a 30% lower risk of total death from coronary sickness. Considers the experience of Thomas. At 74, this retired engineer had undergone bypass surgery 5 years earlier and had several medications for coronary arteries and high blood pressure. Despite following his medication regime, he continued to feel occasionally chest discomfort and fatigue with moderate effort. After knowing the cardiovascular benefits of dry fruits, Thomas decided to make them a daily priority. I started eating a small handmade hand of dry fruits, about 1.5 ounces, every day, explains Thomas. It varied between nuts, almonds, pistache and pecan nuts, usually as a snack in the morning or added to my breakfast cereals. After about 2 months of this simple addition to his diet, Thomas began to notice improvements. His energy levels increased and could walk longer distances without feeling pressure on his chest or fatigue. When Thomas returned to his cardiological checkup 3 months later, his doctor was pleased with the changes. Its arterial tension had declined, its HDL cholesterol had increased and its inflammatory markers were lower. My cardiologist was particularly impressed by improving my endothelial function test, recalls Thomas. He said it was a significant indicator that my blood vessels were really better and not just respond to medication. After 6 months of daily nuts consumption, along with prescribed medicines, Thomas's cardiovascular function improved enough to really feel symptoms during its regular activities. What surprised me most, he notes, was the fact that something as simple as eating nuts could make such a significant difference when added to my medical treatment. My quality of life generally improved substantially. Thomas's experience is in line with what researchers observed in clinical studies. A particularly remarkable study, published in the Journal of the American College of Cardiology, concluded that participants with coronary artery disease who consume daily nuts have had significant improvements in endothelial function in just 4 weeks, improvements that contribute directly to better blood flow and the risk reduction of cardiac events. Another impressive research project, the pre-timed study, showed that participants who followed a nut-supplemented Mediterranean diet had a 28% reduction in major cardiovascular events compared to those who followed a poor-fat diet. Investigators have observed a real regression of atherosclerosis in some participants, suggesting that regular consumption of dry fruits is not limited to avoiding further damage. It can help to reverse existing cardiovascular disease. To incorporate more dry fruits that heal the heart into your routine, it points to about 1.5 ounces, a small handy and handed hand. Chooses raw or dry toasted varieties without adding oils, salt or sugar. Adds chopped walnuts to the porridge, yogurt or cereal. Sprinkles in salads or vegetable dishes to give more texture and nutrition. Fruits for fish or poultry instead of breadcrumbs. Experience dry fruit butters, without adding sugar. Raw hydrogenated oils, to block or dive to get as many cardiovascular benefits as possible. Bet on variety. Different dry fruits offer slightly different nutritional profiles. Nuts are particularly rich in omega-3. Almonds provide a substantial amount of vitamin E. Pistaches offer lutein and zeaxanthin that benefit blood vessels, and pecan walnuts contain unique forms of vitamin and called gamma-2-phorals. Although dry fruits are dense in calories, research consistently shows that people who eat dry fruits regularly tend not to gain weight, probably because protein, fiber and fat. Dry fruits create lasting satiety that reduces total food intake. Hold the dry fruits in the fridge or freezer to preserve your delicate oils and avoid rancor. Final considerations: to heal your heart through nutrition. By completing this exploration of foods that can help reverse cardiovascular disease after 60 years, reserves a moment to reflect on the profound connection between what food and the health of your heart and your blood vessels. Arterial damage, inflammation, cholesterol accumulation and decreased blood flow that characterize cardiovascular disease are not only inevitable aging consequences, are often signs that your cardiovascular system needs specific nutritional support. By incorporating these 5 powerful foods into your regular diet, You are providing your heart and arteries the compounds you need to potentially cure and restore function. We will review the 5 remarkable foods we approached and can help reverse cardiovascular disease after 60 years. Extra virgin olive oil with polyphenols that reduce inflammation and improve endothelial function. Fatty fish that provide omega-3 that simultaneously combat various mechanisms of cardiac disease. Rich anthocyanins that repair arterial damage and improve fibromuscular response. That solubles that significantly reduce cholesterol and improve blood voltage. Nuts that contain a perfect combination of fats, sterols and antioxidants that improve lipid profiles and arterial health. Which stood out to you? Which of these foods that heal the heart will you incorporate more consistently into your diet? Perhaps you have used refined oils, without realizing the deep benefits that extra virgin olive oil offers for vascular health. Perhaps you have avoided dry fruits due to outdated fat worries, losing your remarkable ability to improve your lipid profile. Or perhaps you have ignored the legumes, not recognizing their effects clinically proven in reducing cholesterol. The beauty of this approach to cardiovascular health is its simplicity and accessibility. You don't need expensive specialized foods or complicated regimes, just a purchasing list focused on these 5 powerful foods. And unlike many heart medications that only treat individual risk symptoms or factors, these foods aim at various aspects of cardiovascular disease simultaneously, potentially allowing cure at a fundamental level. I want to emphasize that these foods work best as part of a comprehensive heart health approach, which includes appropriate medical care. People whose stories I shared continue to take prescribed medications while adding these foods to their routines. The improvements they felt came from complementing conventional treatment with nutritional support, not replacing the necessary medication. It always works with your health professionals and information from the food changes you are making. We would love to hear your experience. Please leave a comment below by sharing an idea of this video that has surprised you, or a food that plans to incorporate more consistently into your diet. Your experiences and questions not only help us create better content, but can inspire other people who face similar cardiovascular health challenges. If you find this valuable information, please like, subscribe and share this video with someone you like and who may be concerned about heart health. Your support helps us continue to create test-based content that can really make a difference in people's lives. Thank you for investing time to learn how to support your cardiovascular health through nutrition. Remember, heart function at any age is influenced by the foods that ingest consistently. The best time to start nourishing your heart better today. Your future will thank you for the gift of improved cardiovascular health and potentially more years of quality life.